What's up, fight fans? And we are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV. What's up, Richard? Salute, baby. How you doing? We have a lot to talk about, a lot to cover here. There's a lot been going on in boxing. I was just on my boy's channel, Doc Boxing. Shouts out to Doc. And we were on for quite some time talking about the Ryan Garcia whole situation and everything that's coming out about it, and the look that Devin Haney's getting out of it and Ryan Garcia. I also want to talk about Tank Davis and Naoya Inoue, some of the top fighters in the world today, and where they stand among all the greats and the best fighters. So, without further ado, let's get right into this video and let's talk about all these interesting topics that are going around in the sport of boxing. Well, right now Ryan Garcia is suffering the the punishment that the New York Boxing Athletic Commission deemed he deserved. They gave him a year suspension, they gave him the fines, and Ryan Garcia is going to have to accept that and move on. In which, in fact, I think that that's what was advised from him, from his legal counsel, being that he really didn't have a leg to stand on. Ryan Garcia couldn't prove where this all came from. So being that he doesn't know if someone switched out his toothpaste and someone was paid to set him up, or did Ryan Garcia actually choose to take Ostarine when, in my opinion, in the boxing world, there's just a lot more things he could have took that would have been beneficial to the win. The entire thing doesn't make sense to me, being the fact, you mean to tell me weeks leading into the fight, Ryan Garcia came up with a brilliant plan to destroy his name, his credibility, how he got where he got, also destroy the first opportunity that was given to him by fighting and competing for a world title. So this kid said, let me take Ostring that even at the top peak of it, it's not the type of PE you would take to win a boxing match. At his level, there was just so many other things he could have took. But okay, let's just go with the fact that unfortunately, this is going to have to go down as a life learning lesson to Ryan Garcia. He's going to have to take it on the chin. His lawyer said, kid, if you can't figure out how it got in your system, I advise you to plead guilty. And he did. So Devin Haney now seems to be the one that's still searching for compensation. Maybe he feels that his name is taking a hit. Although I was just talking about this and I said he really wasn't selling before that fight, and now he's not selling after the fight. So the person that was the A side was Ryan Garcia. So he made the most money due in part to Ryan Garcia. Now, it's up for opinion and Devin Haney whether you just let this guy off the hook. It must piss him off to see that everybody's still backing him up. The WBC is not showing any interest of furthering any further actions against Ryan Garcia. Wow, that's funny. Devin Haney is the one that was cheated. He's the champion, but they're supporting the person that popped dirty, and they're saying that there's no need to further punish Ryan Garcia, that they feel that the New York Boxing Athletic Commission did enough. Wow. Really? Now Devin Haney's in a peculiar situation, to I would say the least, but vacating your belt, refusing to fight Sandor Martin just hurts you. I believe Devin Haney has fought and for low money before, going out to Australia to fight George Camboza. I believe he knows what it's like to take a hit on the purse. But the thing that's most important is how you perform. And just like Espinoza the other night, when he fought Sergio, Sergio was the number ranked 2 opponent in the world. And you had to give him credit for that. That on his first title defense, he didn't fight a tomato can. That guy was number 2. So if Devin Haney can come out and put up a great performance, I don't know what kind of performance he's going to put up. I'm not saying that he has the punching power to knock out Sandor Martin, or maybe he does. Or maybe he does. Maybe Devin Haney is just not putting his shots together often and frequent enough. There just either comes in 1 or 2 shots. It's like a 1-2 punch sequence, and then he's in and out. If Devin Haney sat down on his punches a little more and stayed in the pocket and utilized his mobility and really punish his opponent, maybe he could show the world that he has a little bit more punching power than they think. I'm not saying he's going to turn into Mike Tyson overnight, but I'm not willing to say that Devin Haney has absolutely no punching power. I looked at Regis Progress's face after his fight, and he was tatted all the fuck up. So, and you could see the damage he did. So he does have snap. It's just like I said, it's only 1-2, 1-2, out, in, out, 1-2. It's usually like that. He's not like this dominant fighter where he's like 1-2, following it up with something else, following it up with something else, stepping back, giving him something else. He's not that kind of fighter. And I think that that's what hurts him. It's his performance of how he's putting things together. You see? So it gives the illusion that he doesn't have any punching power because he's not constantly putting his punches together. But if Devin Haney was to sit down and really like try to like hurt the guy, You know, it's a gamble you take. He could also get caught in these sequences. So, but I think that boxing fans, we love the blood. If Devin Haney can get in there and give us action and blood, they'll love him again. They'll love him again. But the Ryan Garcia ghost is going to haunt him for quite some time. No matter if he got that decision overturned, every single time he wins from here on in, I can guarantee you the following question in his victory is going to be, do you still consider yourself undefeated? Ryan Garcia beat you. Ryan Garcia knocked you down. But yet you went and got it overturned. We understand it's always going to be something. This fight is going to haunt Devin Haney until Devin Haney fixes this problem. Devin Haney's going to have to fight Ryan Garcia. In my opinion, because I believe we're in boxing, we're not in court. This is not a social media event. I believe we should it started in the ring, it should end in the ring. The way you got here in the first place was inside of a boxing ring. There's only one way out of here. You got to beat Ryan Garcia, in my opinion. I don't know what you guys believe or think about it, but in my opinion, that's what he's going to have to do. You see? What's up, guys? What's up, Armando? Salute, baby. Armando's been with me all day in my man's channel. What's up, Frontline? Frontline's been there too. What's up, Justin? Ryan Pop Dirty. Devin is undefeated. He doesn't have to fight Ryan. No, he doesn't. No, actually, he doesn't. What's up, Doc? How you doing, baby? In the building, showing the love. He technically doesn't, and in fact, me and Doc talked about this on his show, right? But in the boxing world, when we're viewing these fighters, we're viewing them, and they're calling themselves the best among the best. And if you're going to call yourself the best, you can't have a situation that you haven't undressed. Okay? This is a situation. Walking away from this, perhaps not giving the Ryan the opportunity of fighting him again, might be appealing to some people in the boxing world. Don't give this cheater another shot. I get it. I get it. And I could see that side. But you stand to make the most money and get your get back and get your get back. I might want to think that one over. You mean I could put hands on him, and because the buildup of that rematch, because of the fact that it was ruled a no contest, double the amount of money they made on the first fight. Yeah. So if Devin Haney's looking for a dollar amount as well to get this would be his way of getting in that back. Ryan can give him another shot. Devin can come into this fight the A side. They both make weight on whatever weight it'll be. I believe it'll be at 147, right? Or a catch weight at 143, 145, somewhere around there, right? But it's definitely not going to be for a year. You can bet on that. Ryan's suspended for a year, and until that happens, now we could sit here and we could talk about this all day. I'm not even sure Ryan Garcia comes back to boxing. What if this year takes him out? Who knows what happened to this kid? If he falls into a darker pit in his life, meets newer friends, and embarks on other shit because he doesn't have boxing in his life. How do we know how Ryan Garcia takes this? This might be the last time we see Ryan Garcia ever in a boxing ring. This suspension could possibly take him out. They just took away this kid's career because he doesn't understand what's going on. A lot of people suffer and fall victim to money and fame. We see it all the time in every sport. Money and fame took out a lot of our boxers and a lot of our athletes. Adrian Broner, the Charlo twins, the list goes on and on and on, unfortunately. And these are some of the pitfalls that some of our athletes have to take on and learn about. And if they're lucky, they come out smelling like roses on the other side. Some of these men and women never catch it. And it looks like Tank Davis right now, he looked physically, he looked better. He had a better look in his eye the night and the weeks leading into the fight with Frank the Ghost Martin. When I was looking into Tank Davis's eyes, he didn't have like a worried look where that he had other things in his life going on. He didn't seem to have like like you can see in his other fights, he looked like angry. He looked like he had a lot on his mind. When they were asking him questions about the fight, he was saying like off the wall shit. Like, he wasn't focused. He wasn't there at the press conferences. He wasn't there. And this one here, he even though he didn't show up to one, and that was a strategic thing that he did, mental, you know. Um, Tank Davis was alert, he was interacting, he was joking around. You can see that he was free of a lot of outside distraction for this fight. He was like, he looked really good. He looked good like he's becoming in a good place in his life. Everything about Tank looked good in this fight. The other fights, I've had a lot of concerns. And if you know me on my channel, I've given Tank a lot of shit. Cause I gotta tell it like it is. He didn't look good against these other guys. He was round. His belly was like this. His face was like this. He looked like he was a chickmunk. He was fighting in weight divisions he didn't belong, and that was a testament to his training. He knew he was good, that good and special, that he was the type of guy, right? There's always this guy in a boxing gym. Everybody's going to know what I'm talking about, right? There's always this guy that's extremely talented in the boxing gym. And usually he's that guy for that gym. And sometimes you can see he doesn't come to train for a long time. Sometimes a week, he'll take a week off. When he comes in, he leaves early. He comes in and you can see it. But it seems like every time he comes in, he whoops everybody's ass. He's that good, that talented. And some fighters take that and they really abuse it, you know. And Tank Davis was that guy. He's the type of guy that can do shit like that. But that's only going to get you so far. Calvin Ford and everybody around him, you know, congratulations to the men and women that are around these fighters at the right time. You think all these fighters do this shit by themselves? You think that they become these world champions just because they're in a gym training? Do you have any idea what it takes to make one of these champions? Just one. And all the pitfalls and everything else that come with it. The late night phone calls as a coach. We got your boy in custody. Come and get him. He was driving. Some of the cover-ups, some of the you're juggling, you're blowing it, son. All the hard work. They're trying to convince him, yo, dude, you're fucking up. You're him. And in the mix of all this, the fighter doesn't believe it. He doesn't believe that he's that guy. He doesn't believe that the responsibility of his family name going up is on his shoulders. And sometimes they don't want the responsibility. But the family's looking back at him like, you're the one. Out of all of us, it's you. And you're fucking up. And Tank Davis, man, we saw him grow up in boxing. We know all the stories. He has a good heart, though. You can see. He went back in Baltimore and bought his neighborhood. He's trying to do something. The next day, the buildings catch on fire. You guys remember that? And it must seem like everything you do just doesn't seem to be working. And no matter how much money you have, as a kid like Tank Davis, like me, you must fantasize just like I did about what it would be like to get money. And if you had money, you would be him. Most of your problems would go away. And your girlfriend would be prettier and she would love only you. And then when you get there, Tank Davis realized there's a lot more people with money. And women are the same at every level. Whether you're broke, poor, if you're going to get cheated on, you're going to get cheated on. And there's always that guy that's trying to impress your girl that got a little bit more than what you got on every level. It's the same shit for all of us. We think if we get money, they'll take it. No, nah. You get a prettier girlfriend, you just got prettier problems, right? And Tank Davis had to find out about that. Not even the world champion Tank Davis. Somebody dares to talk to my girl? Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. They don't give a fuck. You are Tank Davis. That's the real world. And he starts to realize that he has to start tightening up his circle. Start realizing who truly his friends are from the ones that are just laughing at his jokes. This must be tough. You may lose a few friends, you may gain a couple more. And in the whole time, you're trying to balance a boxing career. Your daughter is growing up every day. And you start to think about who's going to take her to the prom. Tank Davis realizes that life does not stop. Why did you get into boxing? What is it that you really wanted to accomplish, Mr. Tank Davis? And he starts to realize that time is not on his side. Securing this victory against Frank the Ghost Martin was big in so many ways. It finally solidified him as a real two-division world champion. If you weren't familiar with the lies that sometimes they tell in boxing, we're putting belts around all these men and women, and they have no problem calling them world champion, when in fact, all they won was an interim belt. The belt he won against Mario Barrio at 140 pounds was an interim world championship. It's a good thing to win if you are a fighter, and it's a good accomplishment. But the Hall of Fame doesn't accept interim world championships. They'll give you acknowledgement for it. There'll be an asterisk next to it, and it'll specify the word interim. And as we all know in boxing or any sport, combat sport, the word interim means you have a piece of a world championship. You are not considered the world champion. That being said, he had two interim world championships at 140 and 135. Never actually completing a super world championship until just recently against Frank the Ghost Martin, where he beat him and completed the ceremony where they awarded him the belt in victory against an opponent. That counts. Now Tank Davis is on track. What he does from here and where he goes from here is totally up to Tank Davis. Sometimes these athletes recognize some of these situations and they quickly try to pull it together. And in doing so, and in a victory, they can fall right back to the things that got them in trouble. It's up to the men and women to recognize I did good. It's not one thing to get my shit together, but the most important thing when you're getting your shit together in life is maintaining your shit together. Give me 1 second. You see? So there's been a lot of interesting fights in the world of boxing. And one of the fighters in particular, Naoya Inoue, which is one of the greatest fighters I believe we have in our era right now. And I heard Tim Bradley and the other commentator talk about Naoya Inoue's visit to New York and how, not a lot of people recognize who he was. And that's what I talk about. And sometimes that's our fault. We claim to love the sport of boxing, but if things are not to our liking or things don't match what we tend to see, we don't tend to care what that person is doing. But in this sport, there have been a lot of men and women that have deserved recognition and deserved title fights, and it's tough. So when I talk about this Japanese superstar, the reason why I talk about him because I'm letting you know firsthand he's the real deal. And Naoya Inoue right now went to New York. He got his award. Interesting enough, when he was up on the podium, he spoke English, which shows his interest on eventually making that transition out here to the West. Now, many people are going to say that he really doesn't need to do that, being the fact he's filling up the Tokyo arena with 55,000 people in attendance. And I don't think he's going to sell anywhere near that out here, although they think. I think if you market him in the right place, there's enough people that know who he really is. Yeah, maybe they didn't know who he was in New York City and Times Square on Puerto Rican Day Parade, and they were all over the Puerto Rican fighter instead, right? Well, you know, but I did notice when he was at the fight, he was making his entrance to find his seat and he was walking past everybody in the crowd. I couldn't help but notice the reaction of some of the fans in the crowd when he was walking by. Go back and watch him walking down. They were like, oh shit, that's Naoya Inoue. People knew who he was. Boxing fans, outside fans and stuff like that. Yeah, they might have recognized the Spanish fighter because he's also from New York, so, but I think if you market him right, people already notice who he is. And I believe not now, yeah, in a way, is really doing his homework. But one of the gentlemen in my live stream the other day said, I think it was yesterday, said that yeah, he reminded me that he was, in fact, wanting to stay there for the remaining of 2024. So I went back and I looked at a little bit of his history, Naoya Inoue, and what was his patterns on how he handled each weight division, right? Okay. For instance, when he won his first world title, I believe he had one fight. Then he skipped a weight division and he went into 115. When he got into 115, he made 7 title defenses on that title. He successfully defended that title 7 times before moving up another weight division. So that was important to note that if he recognized even back then, this was a process. It was something you couldn't rush. He knew that once he jumped over that other weight division, one, his body was naturally growing and he could no longer make the 108, right? So he passed one weight division and made it to the next one. But while he was there, he was fighting much bigger guys than him, but he was really getting acclimated to the division. And that's a testament to the, what kind of fighter he's realistic about his moves. He says, look, it's going to take me a little bit longer because now I'm judging that he's coming into his fourth fight at 122. And he defended that title 7 times before venturing up. So it may not be his last fight at 122. You know, um, looking at his history, some of the ways he did it, I understand later and other ones. Like, look, guys, when he made that jump from 118, it took him a while to get all 4 belts. So he was acclimated. Once he was comfortable, he made the jump to 122. It was the same. He had multiple fights in these weight divisions where that he built himself up to move ahead. It was never like, one fight, jump up, one fight, jump up type thing. It might have seemed like he was going fast, but, he definitely did it, I believe, the best way possible, you know? Jesus, what's up? Let me back up. Bam, bam. How you doing, Rob? What's up, baby? Hey, I need the first merch hoodie. Are you saying no? Shut up, front line. Come on, front line. Yeah. Thanks, Rob. Texas, what's up? Naoya is not going to fight at 135. I don't know. I never know what a fighter is capable of doing. There has been fighters in history that have really surprised me. Right in front of us right now, we're watching with our own eyes a 140-pound champion, a 5'3" Pitbull Cruz. At 140, Naoya Inoue is 5'5". He's a lot taller than Isa Pitbull Cruz. And Isa Pitbull Cruz is the champion at 140. So when you say Naoya Inoue would never fight at 135, I don't know. I know that his body density is not that of a thick guy. He doesn't have really big, you know what I'm saying? He has big calves though. He has a big frame in the bottom, remarkably, right? But he's not like a tank, where a tank, he's more thicker. He has a thicker body mass, right? So when you're looking at that, and Pernell Whitaker was up fighting in weights he should have never been fighting in. He was a little man. Manny Pacquiao was a little man. Okay. These guys fought huge guys. Huge. Now, anyway, he's in the height range at least to be in these other weight divisions. He is. Luis Alberto Lopez is the same height as him. There's a lot of guys in upper weight divisions, 130, 135, 140, that are short, like Naoya Inoue, and they're world champions. So I don't scratch that idea. I don't, you know, anything's possible when you got a guy so skilled. Is he willing to take the chance? Could he actually do it? Time will tell. I can't answer that. I would love to believe he can with those kind of skills. But at some point, these guys are just too big. You're going to run into a much bigger guy that can walk through your punch eventually. And that's how I think they're going to try to beat him. What's up, Boogie? Richard, what's up? Troy, what up? I see Naoya versus Loma as a more possibility. That's a great. That would be a great fucking fight right there, bro. Oh my god, those two little speed demons. And Loma can actually like go down to his natural weight, which we all know Loma is 135 30 pounder. He's not even a real 135 pounder. He doesn't belong there. Loma only moved up because there's nobody at 130. He doesn't have good dancing partners. That's why he's up there fighting these much bigger guys. But if Loma goes back down to 126, 130, where he naturally should be, that would be the best version of Loma. And Naoya Inoue put on a couple pounds. Shit, we got ourselves a fight. That would be a fucking awesome. I mean, if you can get a guy such a skill like Loma to fight that Japanese dude, man, that would be another test I gotta see. I gotta see somebody else. I know Donier was nice, but he's always gonna get that criticism for being older. You know, Stephen Kubo Fulton was supposed to be that guy, but since he got shut out so bad, nobody's like, oh, he was him. So now they didn't believe in him. After he had to show the world. I was trying to tell you guys I was on a different level. And when he beat the brakes off of Stephen Kubo Fulton, then they just didn't want to accept it. They didn't want to give him his credit. So I'm going to need that slick style fighter, that crafty, can fight off the back foot, front foot, speed demon as well. You know, and Loma's right up that alley. Once again, if they do it again, they're probably going to use Loma's fucking age. Fuck. So that breaks it back down to Tank. Boo Boo Schuster, man. I like Bruce. Man, I like him. I just don't think he's ready. I don't think he's ready right now. So the fight might land back on Juto Nakatoni. I wish Bam Bam Rodriguez actually was up there. Because I would take Bam Bam Rodriguez against Naoya Inoue. You're damn right I would. I just don't think Bam's big enough. That's the problem. I would like to see Bam Rodriguez standing next to him. Yeah. But that would be an interesting fight with Bam Bam. You know what I mean? Oh, that would be a great fight too. Yeah. The strongest out of all of them, of course, is Tank Davis. He would scare me because of his power, his accuracy. He's got good snap to his shot, good timing, good speed. He's got a good ring IQ. You know, I'm not sure if Naoya Inoue can take Tank's punch for how long. You know, I also understand that Tank would have to land the punch against a fighter so skilled as Naoya Inoue. But I would fear that fight for Naoya Inoue. You know, if Naoya Inoue did some impressive shit, it wouldn't shock me. No, it wouldn't shock me at all. It's expected. It's expected. If he lost, you know, that wouldn't shock me neither. You know, because it was expected from Tank. You know, so that's what makes those kind of fights, those real 50-50 fights. You know, and that's when we talk about 50-50 fights, that's how they should be sounding. That's how confused you should be when you're talking about a 50-50 fight, in my opinion. So, yeah. Jesus Christ, man, that will be. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Naoya is already great. He was at Shushu's fight, walked out right after. Yeah, he did match from moving chess pieces around with making the Regis versus Catterall fight. Who you guys like, and how does that affect at Matia's rematch? I do agree. That's why I said Naoya might be limited at 150. Teal Teal thinks he had moved up and beat Crawford. Thinks he could beat Crawford. Listen, Teals is just as delusional as he was yesterday. If you saw that interview with Teofimo Lopez, all he did was basically give his delusional opinion of what he believes he is today as a fighter. I understand you're supposed to talk confident about yourself, but you're not supposed to lie on yourself. Meaning, he was like, I was the youngest undisputed world champion at 23 at 135 pounds. No, you weren't. Stop being delusional. You never had all four belts in your entire career. Teal, if you want to be honest, okay, then tell me where on the night that you fought Lomachenko, who had the WBC World Championship of the World? You didn't come into that fight with it. You only had one belt, the WBO, right? And Lomachenko didn't come into the fight with the WBC World Championship. Why? Because he vacated the belt to Devin Haney. And then Devin Haney was notified that he was elevated, that Tank Davis called him an email champion. So if Lomachenko didn't have the WBC World Championship and you didn't have the WBC World Championship, how the fuck did you win the WBC Championship on that night? That is as simple as I can make it. How did you win the WBC World Championship on that night if it wasn't in play? Loma didn't have it and you didn't have it. Devin Haney had it. And after you lost your three belts in Ringside Magazine belt to George Camboza because you mentally fell apart, George Camboza fought Devin Haney in Australia to unify all four belts. Why? Because Devin Haney had the WBC World Championship. So how the fuck is Teofimo Lopez jumping on an interview, looking right into the camera and lying? Just because he's a professional boxer and just because he's saying it doesn't make it so. He's delusional. The Nile is just not a river in Egypt. As you can see, he said a whole bunch of lies in that interview. I was looking at Tio actually, and I was a little concerned. I was like, bro, he's saying this shit like he really means it. And if that's the case, Tio, my man, you're delusional. He says that he also should have the status as a two division world champion of all four belts, that he did it before Terrence Crawford did it because of the fact that when he beat Josh Taylor had all four belts and no one beat Josh Taylor. Another lie. Another lie. Wait a minute. Didn't Josh Taylor get stripped of his belts coming into your fight, T.O.? And on the night you fought him, that fight was only for one belt, the WBO. So how the fuck should we give you credit? Another lie. Teofimo Lopez, bro. Listen, even though with all these antics and lies, it makes them look bad. Yeah, it does, right? To real like hardcore fans like myself, that you're not just gonna fucking say anything and I'm be like, yeah, Tio, you're right. No, we investigate here at Round One Sports Talk. And if you say something, I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up. And if it's so and it's true, I'll be the first one to say, no, he's right. Yup, he did this, this, and this. That man is 100% right. And I'll be the first to let you know that. But if you're lying to the public and you're trying to give out this false narrative to what? Try to sell your next fight in Miami? Oh, another lie. My homecoming. Your homecoming. I thought you said you were gonna fight in Honduras, right? I thought you said you were gonna fight in Honduras. But what happened? You couldn't sell tickets? Now all of a sudden Miami's your home, not New York City. Another lie. Like just his perception of what he is and what he accomplished in boxing is not the truth. And he can take this to the bitter end. Well, just because you say it, Tio, doesn't make it so. It's not gonna it's not gonna go down in the fucking Hall of Fame, in the history books. They're not gonna give him credibility for what he's saying just because he says it. That's a sad case right there. He needs to get honest with himself. He's a great fighter, bro. He's a good champion, man. Tio, I think he can fight pretty fucking good, bro. Um, and besides all of his antics, you can't take away how many division world champion he is. He was uh, uh, a unified world champion. That's good fucking enough, bro. 3 belts in the Ringside magazine. That's a hell of accomplishment, bro. There's men that fight their entire careers and never achieve that. Tio did that. He can honestly say he did that. And then he moves up and he fights Josh Taylor, the undefeated one, and he beats him the way he did. Tio did that. He could say he did that. He came into some questionable fights, razor thin victories. You know, um, Tio's career is up to Tio. I like him as a boxer. I don't like his antics and what he says. I don't agree to a lot of the things, but I don't let that sway me in my view of him or my perception of him as a fighter. I cover boxing. I have to separate that from the fighter. That's my job. That's what I do. So that you don't get a mixed perception about how you view his opinion and get a big bad distortion, and then all of a sudden put your money on the other guy and your guy gets rocked because even though he's fucking a little delusional, he is a good fighter. So, yeah. Let me get all the way down here to your things that way I could what's up, Rob? Thank you. I thought you said he was from Brooklyn. Tio from New York, right? Now he's from Miami. I'm coming to homecoming to Miami. Yeah, like everywhere's his home now, you know? What's Armando saying? Jesus Christ, you know how Pacquiao did it. It was in his um, the thing is that Manny Pacquiao, for all the wars and battles Manny Pacquiao has been into, the one thing that separates Manny Pacquiao from a lot of these fighters is that Manny Pacquiao was a fan pleasing fighter. You got to admit, whenever you watched the Manny Pacquiao fight, you knew you were going to watch a fight. there was gonna be action. When was there except that, and it wasn't all that boring. It was just mostly skilled against the Floyd fight. It was just two guys playing high level chess, and that's why it gave the illusion that it was really boring. But at that level, those men didn't want to make a mistake. So it was going to play out like that, unfortunately, when you're that skilled. But typically, a Manny Pacquiao fight was going to be an action fight. It was going to be this little guy, like the little engine that could, coming forward, in your face all the time. Never stop throwing punches. Fast as fuck, boy. You know what I mean? And hit like fucking like like Tyson and shit. And that's what you were gonna get from a Manny Pacquiao fight. So it's really, really exciting to watch them. That's why boxing and a lot of fight fans, it's really opinion on who you were supporting or who you like as a fighter. And no answer is the wrong answer. If you like that guy, brother, that's the right answer. Support your guy. It doesn't matter if your guy lost, got knocked out, defeated. No. If you consider him the best, guess fucking what? Then he's the best. Who am I or anyone else should fucking shut you up or take your favorite fighter away from you? Don't ever allow that. Whether it's true or not, you know? So you always support your guy. And I believe that loyalty is something that goes a long way. It really does. Um, I got myself in a position where I wanted it to express my broad view of boxing, my insight and knowledge of boxing. And since I put myself in this situation, I don't have a favorite. I'll be critical to fighters, judgmental. I'll be honest in my assessment. I'll give fighters their flowers. I'll talk to fighters that need to be talked about, but I will always keep it 100. I'm not hired by any outside source. I don't read off a boxing prompt monitor. I'm free to speak the truth. And what helps me is, I believe, is my boxing eye and my insight of what I was taught and learned throughout my years of covering and watching boxing. So as time goes on, I get better at it. I get more familiar with the fighters. I do my due diligence. You guys know me if you've been watching me. Yo, let's get these likes up, please. Smash the like button. Do me a favor. And if you guys know me, I always do my due diligence. I'm a real advocate on watching the entire fight, not just giving your assessment on highlights. Um, I, I I don't like that. There's two people in the ring, and you really gotta like pay attention to what both fighters were doing, because at the end of the day, we all know this: styles make fights. And if you understand styles and you start getting a better look at different styles of fighting, you could see when the storm is coming to your favorite fighter. And you could see that that style in particular may give him the worst or the toughest time. And it might not always look like the best boxer. There were some people that thought that Ryan Garcia was going to beat Devin Haney straight up. And I got to admit that. And they said the reason why was Ryan Garcia's unorthodox style was going to give the boxer problems, because the dance wasn't going the way Devin Haney. He's not standing there bouncing, throwing jabs, and Devin Haney is just playing out the dance the way it's supposed to go. Ryan Garcia brought chaos to the dance, and he didn't know how to deal with it. Yeah, and that's why styles make fights. It wasn't anything slick that Ryan Garcia did. It wasn't his superior boxing skills. No, it was his forward pressure and aggression and power. Yeah. So, it goes to show you that you have to start to watch all styles. and why these guys are fighting this way and what he's doing and so forth and so forth. And that's what I do. He said he's what second youngest to unify all four belts. Bro, Mike Tyson. Oh my God, this Teofimo Lopez is delusional. He's delusional that Mike Tyson is a legitimately unified, undisputed world champion, and he's comparing himself to Mike. No, he didn't do that. No, he didn't go on an interview and say that he was the youngest behind Mike Tyson. No, he didn't. No, he didn't attach his name to a real one to try to sell you the story as authentic. Because if you attach your name to a real undisputed champion, well, then it's got to be true, right? That's bullshit. Teofimo Lopez was never undisputed. Unified, yes. Undisputed, no. The only undisputed champion at 135 pounds was Devin Haney. The only one. George Kamboza fell short. Lomachenko fell short. Teofimo Lopez fell short. Devin Haney did it. That's the difference. But if you let Teo tell you, all of a sudden, I'm the second youngest to Mike Tyson. Bro. Yo, if Mike Tyson ever hears that, bro, it's crazy, man. Yo, he just says shit to keep people typing his name, Teo. He's fucking crazy. He's so disillusioned. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. That always worried me. If mentally you couldn't accept reality, what does that say about you? About your mental, you can be fucked with. You can be fucked with. You're setting yourself up, Tio, for one day to be at a big, massive fight. He's on stage. He's about to unify or something, some belt. And his opponent is going to call him out on that and say, Tio, you're so delusional that you were walking around calling yourself an undisputed world champion. How sad is that? Everybody's going to start laughing. He's going to be on the podium and he's going to have no one to thank but himself for this unwanted attention. All these things one day, in the midst of a shit talking of a fight, someone's going to use this against him. You better mark my words. And they're going to say, yo, Tio, how delusional were you? And he's going to get off the stage, and the next time they meet, they're going to bring it up again. And the next time, they're going to bring it up again. And they're going to try to fuck with Tio's mental status because these are the things that he put on himself. And he gave ammo to the rest of the boxing world that really know, brother, you were never undisputed. Why are you going campaigning saying next to Mike Tyson, you were the youngest undisputed? Bro, no, you weren't. Devin Haney was. Why are you trying to live Devin Haney's life? Why are you forcing it? Brother, you didn't have it. Devin Haney had the WBC world title, and as long as he had that belt, George Kamboza went out to fight him in Australia, you could have never had it. Who fought Devin Haney for him to mysteriously end up with the WBC, T.O.? Go. Did you lose the WBC to Devin Haney? Did George Kamboza lose the WBC to Devin Haney? No, he had it the whole time. Bro, this guy is delusional, man. He's fucking crazy. I can't believe he said that he was the youngest besides Mike Tyson. That's fucking crazy, bro. Fucking Mike Tyson, bro. You really used his name? Oh my God, it's fucking bananas. Ryan was a genius, fooling everybody that it was a. Yeah, look, Ryan knew that at the end of the day, once he was informed of the rules, he had no way out. At the end of the day, he was going to look like a cheater. The only thing that Ryan did different, it was that Ryan gave you options to try to feel bad for him, because at the end of the day, he was going to be found guilty regardless. It didn't matter, right? When you think about what the lab people found in his, this is the process. The New York Boxing Athletic Committee had a meeting. All the evidence that was going to be accepted was looked over. And they finally came to Ryan Garcia and handed down a sanction. They didn't make Ryan an offer like in a court case where he can go in and say, yeah, I'll take the year. That's not how it works. The New York Boxing Athletic Commission gave him the sanction and he has the right to appeal it. That's how that works. So he didn't have to take the year. He could have appealed it. And once he appealed it, now that year's off the table. Now you got to go to real court. Once you appeal that, you're probably going to end up in front of a judge. And it's going to be up to you and your legal team to prove how that got in your system. The fact that he could never prove how it got there and he looked just as baffled as everyone else, right? Is that when they handed him down the sanction, he accepted it. He said, I'm accepted, move on. Now, I said all of that to say this, that if the New York Boxing Athletic Commission handed him down a year, that's what they're saying it was worth. They're saying, all right, Ryan Garcia, we looked over all the evidence and we decided to suspend you for a year, and this is how much fines you have. Meaning, if there was an extreme amount of PE in his system and they gave him maximum advantage as a cheater, I don't think they would have been okay with coming back and saying, here's a year. I think they would have said, brother, we know the truth. You had so much fucking PEs in your system that you were going to win the fight. So we're going to give you the maximum 2-year ban and the maximum on fines. The fact that they didn't give him the maximum kind of hints to the fact that their finding was, although he was dirty, he might have not been dirty to the point where it gave him a benefit. So they gave him the year. Saul Canelo Alvarez got 18 months. They only gave him a year. So I was like going on the impression maybe it wasn't that bad. But that's not technically so. Okay? The only way Devin Haney can find out everything, the truth, is by taking it to court. Because everything that the New York Boxing Athletic Commission, the way they came to their conclusion on how they handled the situation, that's all going to have to come up in court. They're going to have to show their findings. They're going to have to say, well, he did this, and this was on this level and this level. So we felt that this sanction fit the bill. And that's why we gave him a year. That's what they're going to have to prove in court. The New York Boxing Athletic Committee to a judge. The judge is going to say, how did you come up to the conclusion of giving him a year? They're going to say, well, we did our investigation. And in our investigation, after all the evidence we sift through, this is what we felt the penalty should be. And they gave it to him. All he does is have the right to appeal it. He didn't appeal it. He said, I agree. It's a little different than court, where that they offer you a plea bargain, where you can, you're looking at 10 years and they say 2 years. That's a plea bargain. That was different. You accepted a plea bargain that a DA gave you. They didn't give Ryan Garcia a plea bargain. They gave him the sanction. He didn't have a choice. That's what they gave him. It was up to him to appeal that. See, that's a difference. You see? So, you know, yeah, baby. You always thinking like an OG, huh? In a four belt era. Oh my God. He said undisputed in a four belt era, Bam Bam. He's fucking delusional. A real undisputed champion. You want to know what he looks like? Usyk, Terrence Crawford, Naoya Inoue. Those are real undisputed world champions. Once upon a time, Jermel Charlo, Canelo Alvarez. Those are real undisputed world champions right there. Those are the guys that have real Josh Taylor at one time. Yeah, those guys. And you notice if you go right now in boxing records or boxing history, in a four belt era, there's only been 9 men to have undisputed, right? In a four belt era, starting with Bernell Hopkins. Bernell Hopkins was number one. He's the godfather. Him and Oscar fight is what solidified the WBO on that night. And it became a four belt era. So Bernell, Tarver, right, that beat Bernell, right? And he did it twice, right? He just successfully defended, then he lost, right? So that's two, right? Then you got Josh Taylor. I mean, not Tarver, Taylor. Taylor is the one that beat Bernard, right? And then you got Josh Taylor, right? He's in a four belt ever. Jamel Charlo, right? Saul Canelo Alvarez, Terrence Crawford, Naoya Inoue, Usyk. Who's the last guy? Come on, Edwin. Who is the last guy? In the four belt era. There's one more. There's one more guy. I counted 8, right? You notice that I never said Teofimo Lopez's name, nor George Camboza's name. Oh, Devin Haney. Devin Haney. That's 9. That's 9. Devin Haney was the last one. Yeah, that's all 9 in a four belt era. Those are the 9 men that has successfully unified all 4 belts. That's it. There's only been 9 of them to do it. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, that's the 9. I thought there was one more recently got 10, which I think it's Usyk. And if Usyk became the 10th, that means that I would be missing another guy. I'm not sure. I would look that shit up. But yeah, guys, that's how that shit goes. And Mr. Teofimo Lopez is not among those names at all. So I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. That's just like he's got to let shit like that go and just move past forward shit because I'm telling you right now, I'm calling it. He's setting himself up to be embarrassed later by being called out by real men and women that are real four belt holding champions. And if Mike Tyson ever gets on a podcast and feels disrespected by Teofimo Lopez using his name to attach himself to a real one, and Mike gets on and says he has all the right to because Mike never asked you to attach your name to him. And if he wants to respond to that and really shit on you, T.O., you did that to yourself. All right? And that's where I see that the trouble lies when you're fucking just making shit up And Tio knows that a lot of lying in boxing's the one place, one sport you could practically say anything and get away with it. They went on. We talked about it. I'm not gonna fucking bash Manny Pacquiao, but the way they said he was an 8th division world champion. Even Max Kellenham made that story about it. And if you was to come on tomorrow and say LeBron James has 8 rings and he surpassed the great Michael Jordan last night, the boxing world would go in an uproar. The fucking internet would crash. But you could say that in boxing, and no one even lifted an eyelash to check it out. Nobody even questioned it. It's Manny Pacquiao. Yeah, I guess it's true. I guess it's so. No one even fucking like until people like me got rude awakenings. Here I am trying to support and fucking make a story to be like, damn, that's some fucking remarkable shit. I can't wait to do a story on them and finding out the truth for myself. Like, fucking heartbroken. Like, I'm sitting there like, no fucking way did they lie to us like this. Not about a guy like this. Why would they do that? I'm sitting there just watching and fucking looking up everything and heartbroken. Fucking, I was lied to. Fucking lied to, bro. And that's why I do my due diligence and I do my research. That way I'm never blindsided again. That way I never be lied to again. That way Tio can't fucking look in a camera and lie to me. Because before those words come out, I already knew the truth. Because I'm up to date with my shit. So I laugh. I laugh. If that's what you got to do to sell your tickets and attach your name to Mike Tyson so people can buy, it's not your fighting that's putting seats in those butts in those seats. No, it's not your fighting. It's your fucking storytelling. The fuck is going on? You know what I'm saying? So listen, fight fans, I love you guys. This has been an amazing show. Thank you for tuning in, watching me. Please smash that like button, help the brand, and support the channel. And like always, I'm on to the next one after this one here at Round One Sports TV. Peace. Man, I did 2 shows today. Woo, I'm a little gassed. Woo, but I do it. I do it. I do it for the love of the sport. And I do it for you guys. Bam, Amando, all everyone that subscribes to me.